All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fantastic data analytics masterclass with analytics, of course. I hope we are ready. I hope we are excited to learn something new. I hope we are ready to take a look at what we are going to be doing for the next hour or two. All right, and to, like I said earlier, learn something new. All right, but before we go ahead, I would just like to, hear from you guys. I would like to meet you guys. I would like to know where are you joining us from? What's your name? Okay, so just drop that in the chat box. Today's session is going to be very, very interactive. All right, so it's going to be very, very interactive. So I'm going to need you to utilize the chat box as much as possible. All right. So in this session, the chat box is your friend. Okay, the chat box is your friend. So just drop on the chat box. Tell me, where you're joining us from, your name, and then we'll go ahead. All right. So Joke says this Kudirat Ayola from Nigeria. Fantastic. Just, all right. Sadiq says Oweoluwa from Nigeria. All right. So I need more responses. Okay. We are here to learn that, right? We're excited to be here to learn about data analytics and how you can leverage this. So before the end of this session, you will be able to do what I'm going to be doing. Okay. You'll be able to do what I'm going to be teaching. All right. You'll be able to build, not just build, deploy, not just deploy, but also to automate Power BI reports. All right, so I can see Quinette from Nigeria. I have a Gifty from Ghana. Fantastic. All right, Abel from Nigeria. Fantastic. All right, so we're just 22 on the call at the moment, but subsequently, we are definitely going to be getting more persons will be joining us in due time. Okay, but I'll just go ahead. Okay, so I'll just go ahead so we don't waste any more time. Okay, just a moment. All right, so build, deploy, and automate your first Power BI report. Build, deploy, and automate your first Power BI report. What is this all about? Before we had the session, I think earlier today, some hours back, someone reached out to me and was like, "Oh, so I showed a flyer that there's going to be a session today that's going to show you how to automate reports." And it was like, "Is that even possible?" Yeah, I know you can build reports. I know you can build dashboards, but can you automate? All right. And he was of the opinion that very soon, because it seems at the moment that we are automating this, we are automating that, we are automating everything. And it was of the opinion that very soon we would probably not need to do anything. Everything will be automated. Okay. But of course, that is not really the case. Maybe somewhat, but that's not really the case. Okay. There's more to that. All right. So once again, build, deploy, and automate your first Power BI report. Are we ready to get into it? Are we ready to get into it? So like I said, today the chat box is your friend. All right. It's going to be heavily interactive. Heavily. All right. Heavily interactive. All right. So I can see yes, yes, we have. I can see yes, just like 2 or 3 yeses. So I need more responses, except if we are not, we are not interested. So we can just call it a day. We just end the session and everyone goes to bed. Everyone goes about their duties. Okay. So are we ready to learn? Are we ready to learn? So Fash, hi Fash. So Fash is from Qatar. All right, fantastic. Ready. We are ready. Great. Absolutely fantastic. All right. So first off, just a little bit about what we do at Tenalytics. All right. So Tenalytics is an edtech firm, and we our mission is to help as many Africans and people of the Black community to transition into tech. All right, that's what we do. That's what we are hoping to achieve. That's what we've been trying to do, and we've done to a considerable extent in the past couple of years. All right, so we offer programs in data analytics, in business analysis, in data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, Scrum, cybersecurity, and AI engineering, which is coming soon. Okay, so in all of these programs, we have fantastic facilitators that have worked in top-end companies, that's the Fortune 500 companies, if I may. So I'm sure we are familiar with that phrase. That's I'm talking about Apple, I'm talking about Microsoft, I'm talking about Amazon, and all of those, all of these companies. So when you join us here at Analytics, you know for a fact that you are in good hands. That's just it. All right. You know for a fact that you're in good hands. All right. So moving on. The funders. Okay, so this fantastic organization was, it was founded by two amazing individuals. All right, that's I'm talking about Adeza Suleiman. All right, I'm talking about Adeza Suleiman and Efemina Ipo. So Adeza is the founder of Tenalytics and is a data analytics expert, data science consultant in the UK and in the US. He currently resides in Canada. All right, because for those of us that might have seen or maybe heard about Adeza previously, so he was in the UK a while back, but at the moment, he currently lives in Canada. All right, so he has close to a decade experience and he has trained close to 10,000 participants personally. All right. And of course, to my right, we have Efemina Ipo. So Efemina is the co-founder of Tenalytics. All right, and is a data science contractor. He has worked as the business data support lead for the post office in the UK, also as the global business system analyst for Teleflex Ireland. All right, and his experience in data analytics, data engineering, data science, platform development, just to name a few. All right, I could go on and mention all the things that Efemina is skilled in if we have the time. Okay, but of course we don't. We are here to learn about Power BI. We are here to learn how to build reports, not just build, how to deploy reports, not just deploy, but also how to automate reports. Fantastic. So, meeting the facilitator. So I haven't introduced myself, of course. All right. So who am I? Okay. I'm Isis Agmalaho, as you can see from the name tag at the bottom left. All right. So as you can see from the name tag, I'm Isis Agmalaho, and I'm currently a senior data associate and program lead here at Tenalytics. All right. I have expertise in data analytics, in business analysis, and the Power Platform. I've worked across organizations in Europe and Africa, basically helping them to transform their critical business processes, utilizing these three skills I just mentioned. Okay, and I've trained close to 2,000 professionals across 4 different continents. But just like I said previously, enough about me. We are here to learn something exciting. All right, not all those boring details. All right, so what are we going to be doing today? We already know. I've mentioned it over and over again. But that's just the first thing. All right. So Dan Fulani is asking, what is my net worth? So if you want to know my net worth, just connect with me on LinkedIn. All right. So connect with me on LinkedIn. Send me a private message and I'll let you know. All right. So I don't want to, mention this on a public session like this. All right. So it's a secret. Okay. So just hit me up and I will tell you what my net worth is. All right. So like I said, that is just the first that is just the that is just the first section. That's building, deploying, and automating a report in Power BI. So we are going to be working on a sales report. All right. The second thing we are going to look at is how can you actually get started as a data analyst? How? All right. How can you get started as a data analyst? Because you've heard about things. You've heard, oh, so I know of this guy that, said he actually is a data analyst. So maybe learned data analytics. He says he knows how to use Power BI and he hasn't gotten a job for the past 5 years. He's doing something else. So is data analytics really in high demand? And if so, how can I become a data analyst? So we're taking a look at that. And also our upcoming course that's coming up in May 4th. So we just, have a brief talk on all of that. All right. So who is a data analyst? Who is a data analyst? What does a data analyst do? A data analyst, of course, for a fact that is gotten from the term data analytics. Or rather, before I even go into that, who do we think a data analyst is? So when you hear the word data analyst, what do you think? Of course, you could not know. That's the reason why you're here to learn. All right. So, but if you don't know, just place on the chat box that, oh, this is the first time I'm hearing about the term data analyst. All right. But if you have an idea, maybe even an inkling of what you think data analytics is all about and who a data analyst is, please don't hesitate to drop that on the chat box. Once again, like I said, today, the chat box is your best friend, okay? So we are going to be interacting a whole lot, a whole lot. So who do you think a data analyst is? All right, so let's get that coming in. Let's get that coming in. Who do you think a data analyst is? When you hear the term data analyst, what comes to mind? All right, so responses. Okay, so like I said, once again, and I'm repeating myself, it's going to be a very interactive session, very interactive. All right, so what do you think a data analyst is? When you hear the word data analyst, what do you think? James says one who analyzes data. All right. As funny as it sounds, is actually very, very correct. All right. Of course, the data analyst is one who analyzes data. Okay. So fantastic work, James. Fantastic work. Rashida says a person who analyzes data, agreeing with what James mentioned. All right. Jenny says someone who analyzes data and presents it in an easily understood graphic representation. We are right. Absolutely correct. Okay, a data analyst is a person that is responsible for analyzing and interpreting data. All right, of course, to generate insights. So it's not just, you're not just interpreting and analyzing and interpreting the data. There's a reason why you're doing that. It's not because, oh, you love playing with data, or data is exciting, and that's the reason why you go ahead to analyze and interpret the data. There's a reason why you're doing that. The reason is so you can make data-driven decisions. All right, data-driven decisions. That's the reason why you try to analyze data as a data analyst. All right, the data analyst does two things. All right, two things. The first is that you identify, the data analyst identifies what happened and why did it happen. What happened? Why did it happen? What happened is what we call descriptive analytics. And why did it happen is what we call diagnostic analytics. So let's say you have a business. All right, you have a business. And in your business for this year, or let's say for last year, so that's in the year 2023, you made about so let's say you made about let's say you made maybe 10 million, for instance. All right. And you're surprised, you're like, oh, I made 10 million. So I was expecting more than that, or I was expecting less than that. All right. But you made 10 million. Now, what would data analysts do for you? The first is that the data analyst would carry out what is called descriptive analytics. That is what happened. So you're like, oh, how much did I make? The data analyst takes a look at the data set, takes a look at the data, and then sees that you actually made 10 million. And then tells you, oh, or she tells you, so we made 10 million in the business. And then you want to know, why did we make 10 million? Because maybe that's the highest you've ever made, and you want to know what you guys did right. All right. So you can maybe times 2 or the same in the next year. All right. So the data analyst now answers why analytics, diagnostic analytics. So if you now take a look at the data, oh, so maybe customers, there was this particular product that we just newly launched and customers really liked it. And, you know, they're purchasing the product over and over again. Or maybe it was, maybe there was this change in the environment. Maybe something happened that made customers start purchasing our product, just like what we had during the pandemic. Okay, so during the pandemic, some businesses thrived, and those businesses that thrived were those that were involved in delivering, businesses that were online and all of that. So those businesses thrived as a result of the stay-at-home order during the pandemic. So that's you identifying why did it happen. Two things, don't forget, two things a data analyst do: descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics. Descriptive analytics, what happened? Diagnostic analytics, why did it happen? All right. Now, we are going to be taking a look at a case study today because, of course, we are here to learn how to build, deploy, and automate Power BI reports. All right. So we are going to be taking a look at a case study. We are going to work for a company today, you and I. All right. So we are going to be working on this together. And the company is a company that has different, they have a chain of retail stores. And what that means is that they have different stores scattered across the country. So they have a store there, they have a store here, they have a store there. Even if you go outside at the moment, so maybe if you go outside and just take a look at the window, just you open the shutters and you just look through. Opposite your house, you would see that this particular company, they have a retail store there. I know at the moment you're like, oh, how is that possible? Okay, I've been in this house for a couple of years and I've not seen any retail store. Just try it out. Just try it out. Okay, you could try it out after this session. All right. All right. So this company, they have they were looking to gain insights from their data to understand what happened and why did it happen. All right. This company, they are looking to understand what happened and why did it happen. And they have a data set that contains date, it contains the date column, the customer ID, the gender, age category, product category, quantity, price per unit, total amount. All right. So these are the things that we are going to be taking a look at today. We are going to take a look at the data set that contains all of these different columns. But what is the objective? The objective is that we are going to identify customer preferences. And what do I mean by customer preference, of course? So customer preference is you trying to note what do customers like. Because when you know what customers like as a business, then you can go ahead and do what customers like and then get more customers. All right. So you identify what customers like, you do what the customers like, and then you get more customers. And in so doing, you make more money. Easy peasy. Okay, so we are going to identify the customer preference, and then we are going to take a look at the total revenue. What is the total amount of money that this company actually made, within the time frame that this data set covers. All right, and then we also look at the sales trend. And when you say sales trend, it's literally like like a wavy line. So you are able to identify where we had peak sales or where we had a drop in sales. All right, so these are the things we are going to take a look at, and we are going to be doing this by building the report. So we're going to be building a report today, and the report would contain all of this information to enable us to achieve these objectives that I just mentioned. And this is what the data set looks like. So at the end of the session, so the way the session is going to go, okay, you just follow me. So you might not be able to practice alongside at the moment, since we are short on time, and so we just want to learn all of these very quickly. So what you want to do is that you want to pay attention, right? So you pay close attention to what I'm saying, to you try to understand and all of that, and then later on you get the recording and you get the data set so you can practice. All right. And of course, for you to get the recording and the data set, you would need to actually fill in the attendance form, which is being sent currently to the chat box by my colleague. Okay. So you want to ensure you fill in the attendance form, because when you do so, you would get access to the recording of this session. The session is fully recorded, of course. So you get access to the session, and you would get access to the slides and also access to the data set so you can practice later on. All right, so this is what the data set contains that we are going to be working on. And we are going to convert this data set into this report. So this is a dashboard. All right, so many persons call this a dashboard. It is a dashboard, okay? But in Power BI, this is actually called a report. Dashboard means something else in Power BI. Fun fact, okay? That's just a fun fact, okay? So this is actually a report. A dashboard is something else that you build in Power BI service, okay? But yeah, you can go ahead and call it a dashboard or report. It doesn't really matter. It's all semantics, okay? So we are going to convert this into this. Amazing, right? So we are going to see how we convert all of these numbers into this. So this is the sales dashboard showing us the information, all of those objectives that we listed earlier. This dashboard is going to help us to answer all of those questions. All right, so we get to understand customer preferences, identify the total revenue, and also we are going to be able to take a look at the sales trend. Okay, so this is a wider view. All right, so once again, you're going to get access to the slides. So we are going to be building these. We're not just going to build, we're going to deploy, and then we are going to automate all of this. Are you ready to go? Are you excited to learn how you can get something like this done? All right, the first step to becoming a data analyst. Are we excited, everyone? Should we go ahead? Are you ready? So if you know you're ready, just type a yeah on the chat box. All right, so yeah, I'm ready. Okay, so Olaolu says yes. So I don't want yes. I want yeah. All right, all right. So I want yeah. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? So Amarosa is ready. All right, fantastic. So Isioma is ready. All right. So James is ready. Yeah. Let's go there. Okay, fantastic. So let's get into it. Let's see how we can get this done with a little bit of magic. All right. So this is the Power BI screen. So this is Power BI desktop. All right. We are doing 3 things today for this first section. We are going to be analyzing and building, would deploy, and then would what? Automate. The building side of things is done utilizing Power BI desktop. If you take a look at the top of my screen, at the top left, you see I have Power BI desktop in there because that is the application I currently have opened. We are going to work with Power BI desktop on this to build. Then we are going to work with Power BI service, also known as the Power BI Pro, to deploy and to automate. All right. So when we are building a report, there are 3 things you need to do, or 3 things you need to follow. It's called the ETL. That is the extract, the transform, and the load. All right. So that is what you do. That's what you utilize to get your data from wherever it is stored into Power BI, to get it loaded into Power BI. So you can go ahead and work on it and perform your magic. All right. With a little bit of abracadabra. All right. So that's like a tongue twister. So I had to slow down to pronounce that. Okay. So we are going to be doing a little bit of abracadabra. I'll be doing that utilizing Power BI desktop. All right. So the first thing, like I mentioned, is to extract. That is the ETL. So I'm going to go ahead and extract my data, and I will store it in what I like to call a false Power BI cloud. All right. This name is not official yet, but I'm going to be sending a letter to Microsoft soon. All right. So they can make this term official. Okay. But I like to call this a Power BI false cloud. Power BI Force Cloud. That's where it's going to be stored after we extract. Okay, so I would show you what the Power BI Force Cloud looks like. So to extract, I'm just going to go ahead and click on my get data. Okay, so I click on my get data, I get this pop-up. I have different data sources I can select from, different places that I can connect my data to, that I can connect Power BI to. So I can get my data from Excel, from CSV, from different databases. That's talking about the SQL Server. I can get it from Power Platform, from Azure. All right, that's if you're familiar with Microsoft 365, that's DevOps. Okay, but for this particular case, all right, today we are going to be connecting to the Excel workbook because that is where our data is stored. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I will select Excel workbook, and then I'll come down and click on connect. All right, so I have my my file explorer open up, and now I'm going to locate the data set that contains the information I need. All right, so I'm going to locate the data set that contains the data that I'm going to be loading into Power BI desktop. And the data is the VT6 data set. So this is what we are going to be working with today. So I'm going to go ahead and click on open. Okay. All right, so it's connecting. It's going to be displayed in the Power BI Force Cloud very soon. Okay. So, and yeah, it is. Okay, so this is the Power BI Force Cloud. Of course, like I said, it's not official. That's the name I gave. It's not official. The name is called Navigator, but I don't think Navigator does justice to what this does. So instead of calling it Navigator, I go with Power BI Force Cloud. All right. And once again, I'm going to, send a request over to Microsoft to see if they can, create an update and change this from Navigator to Power BI Force Cloud. So maybe by the end of the session, when you're going through the recording, you're trying to, work on all of this, and you download Power BI Desktop, and you see that this is no longer Navigator, but it's actually Power BI Force Cloud. No, it's coming for me. Okay, no, it's coming for me. All right, so the data has been extracted and it is stored in the Navigator. Okay, so I'm going to click on those data, and I can preview, see what the data contains. I get to see the different columns, the transaction ID, the date, the customer ID, the gender, the age category, all of those different columns. I get to have a look at them in the navigator, double quotes, Power BI, Force Cloud. Okay, so I'm going to place all of that in here. Or rather, it has been placed in here. Okay, and like I said, the next thing we are going to do is to transform. Although we are going to skip that part. Okay, so transforming is something you do when you don't like the data. So maybe the data is dirty. Maybe you want to transform. You want to filter the data. You want to enrich the data. That's data enrichment. That's when you go ahead and you click on transform data. But the data we're working with is all nice and clean, squeaky clean, if I may. Fantastic. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to skip the T and I will jump into L. So I'm going to go ahead and load directly. All right. So I'll click on load, and then this, so this will get loaded. All right. So just a moment. So you can see it's loading. So I have the retail sales data set. So it's loading in. Okay, so all right, so now it has been loaded in. Okay, and as you can see in my data panel, that's by the right of my screen, you get to see the table in here, and I can click on the drop down and I see the different columns available for us to work with. Okay, so let's go into building the report. All right, first thing I would like to do, something it's a personal preference though. I like utilizing shapes to try to style the report to make it look very nice. So make it look aesthetically pleasing, if I may. Okay. So when you take a look at it at first glance, you are intrigued and you want to know more about what the dashboard actually says. So I like to play a little with shapes. All right. So I'm going to just insert a shape. So I'll come over to insert, then I would select shape. Okay, and I'm just going to work with a rectangle. Okay, so I'll just bring this over. Yes, I'm going to utilize this, and I will change that's the image of the, not the image, sorry. I'll change the color of the rectangle from a light sky blue to something else. So all I need to do is to select the rectangle. I come over to this format shape section. I expand style, and then I have the color in here. So I'm just going to make this dark blue. First thing done. All right, let's go ahead and start, taking a look at our objectives, trying to achieve our objectives. All right, so the first thing I would want to do is that the company wants to know, okay, the company wants to know because, of course, they are trying to get insights into their data. So they want to know what price, okay, or rather, what age category actually buys the most from them. So they want to know the age category of their customers. And I want to pick our brains. Okay. So what do we think? So take a look at the table. This is what the table contains. All right. So this is the table in here. And you can see I have age category. I have Gen X. If I scroll down, I have millennials, I have Gen Z, and all of that. So I have about, I think, 4 different age categories in this data set. I have the millennials. Okay, so I have millennials. I have Gen Z. I have Gen X, and then I have boomers. So out of those four different age category, who do you think is going to patronize the company the most? All right. So of these 4 different age categories, that's Gen Z, Gen X. So Gen Z are, I'm sure everyone knows the Gen Z. Okay. So millennials are those within the age group of I think 27 to 45, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have millennials. And then we have Gen X. Sorry. Gen X is from 45 to around I think around 50 or 55 thereabouts. And then we have boomers, that's from 60 upwards. So we have boomers. Okay. So who do you think is more likely to go out and purchase an item? So don't forget, the company it's a company that have different stores. I want to know which age category patronizes us the most. So who do you guys think it is? Like I said, the chat box is your best friend today. All right. So I need your response. Who do you think it is? Just a random thought. Do you think it's the Gen Z? Do you think it's the millennials? Do you think it's the boomers? Who do you think is more likely to actually go out there and purchase an item from this company? What do we think? All right. So what do we think? For me, I think it might be maybe it might be the boomers, who knows? Maybe the elder generation that's talking about those within for maybe from 60 to 85 and all of that. So Fash is asking, what item do they produce? So Fash wants to utilize, maybe use that to gauge things a little bit. Okay. So if you take a look at this, okay, if you take a look at this, so you see you have clothing. You know what? So let's do it this way. Since Fash asked a very, very fantastic question, let's utilize so let's take a look at the items they produce first of all, and then we now use that to gauge the particular age group, the particular age category that is more likely to purchase those kind of items. All right, because of course, at first glance, you really can't tell from here. So we can see clothing. There's a whole lot of data in here. All right, so as a data analyst, I'm going to try to make this make more sense. Okay, so for this, I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to work with, let's say, a bar chart. Okay, so I'm going to insert a bar chart, and then, okay, and then we're going to take a look at the customers. All right, so we're going to take a look at the product, sorry, the products category. That's the product that is purchased the most. So I'm just going to place this on the y-axis, and then I'll place the quantity on the x-axis. So we get to see the product that are purchased the most. And from here, so we have clothing, electronics, and beauty. These are the three products that are currently being sold by this company: clothing, electronics, and beauty, the three different categories of products. So with this, what do you think? Which age group do you think is more likely to patronize this particular company? All right. So we have clothing, we have electronics, and we have beauty. So what do we think? What do we think? Come on, everyone. So I need the responses, okay? I need the responses. What do we think? Is it Gen Z? Is it Gen X? Is it millennials? Is it the boomers? Who do you think is more likely to purchase these kind of items? All right, so no one is responding. All right, all right. So I can see Gen Z. So Rita says Gen Z. Bola Tito says Gen Z as well. All right. Vasak says for the clothing, it's the millennials. All right. So Vasak does not agree that, in general, it's going to be Gen Z. He thinks that for the clothing aspect of things, that we are going to have the millennials that, would purchase most of those products. All right. So Isioma says it's Gen Z as well. All right. So Isioma seems to think it's Gen Z. But let's see. Let's see. Well, let's see what the data says. Okay, let's see what the data says. So for this particular question, I'm going to work with a column chart. Okay, I'm going to work with a column chart. So we're going to use a column chart to see which age category actually is the the customer that purchases from us the most, that purchases from the company the most. Okay, so I'm just going to insert a column chart. All right, so I'll insert a column chart. I'll just bring this over here, first of all. Okay, so for this, I'm going to, all right, just a moment. All right, so for this, I'm going to populate the fields with the age category, of course. All right, so with the age category, and for I'm going to have the quantity. All right, for the age category. That's so we are able to gauge who purchases the most. Or rather, instead of working with quantity, since we're taking a look at who purchases from us the most, let's take a look at let's compare with the revenue to see who brings in the most money. Because from that, we are able to gauge who actually who actually patronizes us the most. And as we can see, so I'm just going to expand this so it's a whole lot clearer. So as you can see, the answer is actually millennials. Okay, so millennials purchase from us the most, and then we have Gen X, and then we have Gen Z, and then boomers in the last range. All right. So it seems Rasak actually got the answer. It's actually millennials and not Gen Z. So maybe the reason why that is that maybe Gen Z doesn't have so much money to go ahead and do some shopping. Okay. And that's the reason why it's the millennials. Because it's not the Gen Zs, they're not even the second. We have millennials, we have Gen X, and we have Gen Z. So this is the reason why data analytics is very important. There's this quote that says, if we have data, let's look at data. But if all we have are opinions, let's go with mine. I don't know if you've heard about that before. I'll just repeat, okay? If we have data, let's look at data. But if all we have are opinions, let's go with mine. So I had an opinion. I thought it was the boomers. You had an opinion. You thought it was Gen Z. But since we actually have data, let's take a look at the data and see what the data says. Because with the data, when we go by the data, we are now able to make data-driven decisions, make accurate decisions. Because without analyzing this, we could have just go ahead and assume that it's actually Gen Z that would be, that would patronize us the most. And because of that, we could be making decisions based on that, and that could lead to the downfall of the organization, or will not get the returns that we were expecting we would get based on the decision that we made. All right. So now we can understand why data analytics is very crucial. All right. Because it's not easy for you to just get that information, taking a look at a data set that contains 1,000 rows. All right. But when you analyze that, when you try to get insights from that, it now all makes more sense. Let's move on. Okay. So let's move on. So I'm going to recite, this would come over here. All right. And then next, I want us to think. Okay. So I want us to think, just like we answered for the age category. So we thought as the Gen Z. Which gender do you think is going to purchase the most? Is it the males or the females? Okay, so which gender do you think is going to purchase from us the most? All right, from this particular company. So we have two genders. We have the males and we have the females currently on the data set. All right. So based on this product, based on the clothing, the electronics, the beauty, who do you think will patronize the company the most? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Let's get the responses coming in. Let's get the responses coming in. OG says female. Oh, wow. James says, let's look at data. Trying to mimic what I just said. Okay, so it just so it just followed what I said lastly, but I don't want that. I don't want let's look at the data. I'm the only one permitted to say that. All right, when I ask a question, I want you to give me this or that. Let's look at the data should only be coming from me. All right, James, that's a nice one. So I have female, female, female. All right, female. I think everyone thinks it's female. No one thinks it's the male. Is there no one that thinks it's the male? So males don't buy clothes. They're not into beauty. Is that the case? We think males don't buy clothes. Everyone thinks it's the females. Really? All right. Let's look at the data. Let's see what the data says. Okay. So for this question, all right, I'm going to work with the so let's work with the donut chart. So I'm going to work with the donut chart. Okay. And for this, okay, just a moment. All right. So for this, I'm going to populate the fields. So I'm going to have the gender in the legend and also the gender and the values to count the gender. That's to count the number of males and the number of females. And we can see that the data says males actually have 49% and the females 51%. All right. Males have what? 51% and the females 49%. OJ says, yeah. Okay. So you see, if we have data, let's look at data. And if all we have are opinions, let's go with mine. All right. Now you can see why it's crucial a data analyst is within an organization. Now you can see why it's crucial for a data analyst to be able to analyze data and to get these insights so you can make decisions based on what the data actually says. Because if we were to go based on popular opinion or based on what we thought, we could have said, oh, we actually think it's the females that, purchases these items from, the most, since we actually, do sell, we have clothing and beauty. Okay. Based on the, based on, I think, stats. All right. I think based on stats, I haven't checked the stats for a while now. All right, but I think females are more likely to purchase, this kind of items. And as a result of that, we might think that is going to be the case for this organization, but it's not. It's not. Okay, so let's go ahead. So that means that it seems the males actually do buy clothing and beauty items from us. So the males want to look good as well. All right then. So let's go ahead. Now, so we've been able to do this. One other thing we'd like to do, all right. One other thing. Okay, so it's female. All right, so sorry, James. So I think it's the females. Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. So females 51%, male. Okay, so the females actually have, but I could say it's almost equal. It's negligible if you ask me. So it seems we have half of males and half of females. So the difference is it's just, just that's one person. Okay, so yeah. So now we've been able to take a look at customer preferences, what customers like. Okay, and how did we know that? Taking a look at the product category, we see that clothing is actually the product that is purchased the most from us. All right, so that means that that's what customers like. So maybe we want to do more in the clothing aspect, or maybe we want to take a look at the beauty that has a bit lesser sales than the clothing, and try to do something similar for what in the beauty for what we did in the clothing, so we get more customers in the beauty section of things, in the beauty side of things, and then we ramp up sales. Okay, so next we will want to take a look at the sales trend. So we want to identify the sales trend. Which month did we make the most sales in terms of quantity? Or which month did we make the most sales in terms of revenue? But I think we'll go with quantity. That's to see the month whereby this customer comes, purchase an item, this customer comes, purchases an item. Like, our stores are very, very busy. Okay, so, and depending on the part of the world you're from, it could differ. For some parts of the world, it is, during December, during the Yuletide. For some, it's during summer. All right, that's around August, where you have peaking, a rise in sales as a result of the summer holidays, and everyone is out and about trying to, get something, maybe going on a vacation and all of that. But let's see what the data says. A fantastic visual to utilize to show trend for you to know where you are the drop and where you are the rise is the line visual. Okay, so I'm going to select the line visual, and when I say visual, I actually mean chart. Okay, so the line chart. And for this particular chart, I'm going to, so what is going to come to my x-axis? So I'm going to have my date in there. Okay, so I don't need the year. I'll take off the year, the quarter, and the day. And then for the y-axis, what I want in the y-axis would be the quantity. That's the quantity of items that were purchased. Okay, so I'm going to drag quantity down to the y-axis. Okay, and we get to see this. So I'm just going to try to expand this a bit first of all. And from here, you can see where we have the peak. It's very, very easy to spot. So we can see we have a peak in sales in May and a peak in sales in October. So we started in January. We sold 199 items in January. Then in February, we sold 214. So we rose from January to February. Then we had a dip in sales in March. And then we had a rise in April. And then we had a tremendous rise in May. Okay. And then we had a dip in June, a dip in July, So this is showing us the sales. This is showing us the sales trend. So with this, we're able to identify those peak periods. And for us, it seems the peak periods at the moment are May and October. So why is that the case? All right, why is that the case? So of course, it could be different reasons. It could be maybe the fact that we need to, it could be maybe as a result of the type of items we sell. So maybe between those periods, those items are usually sought after, or maybe where our stores are located are places whereby they have festive periods in May, maybe in October, and all of that. Okay, and that could be the reason why we have a peak in May and why we have a peak in October. Okay, that could be the reason. But with this, we're able to identify where we have peak sales. So we can do things such as maybe prep. So maybe we don't have enough employees during the May. So maybe we don't have enough employees. And then when we are getting to the May period, we could try to maybe hire some more contract staff, get months on board, because we know we are expecting an influx of customers. All right. So this is a sales trend. This is a sales trend. Now, I'm going to go ahead and so we take a look at some KPIs. And what are KPIs? KPIs are key performance indicators for us to know the performance of the organization. So maybe at the start of the year, we say that we wanted to make 500,000. That was what we were looking to make in revenue. Now we want to take a look at the KPI for revenue to know if we actually made what we said we would, to know if we actually achieved our objectives. All right. So KPIs are different things. They are quantifiable measures that you can use to track the performance within an organization. And we are going to take a look at 3 different KPIs. The first KPI we'll take a look at is the customer KPI. So we are going to take a look at the count of customers to know the total number of customers we actually have within the organization. That's the first. The second is we'll take a look at the total revenue that we made for the year. How much did we make in sales? And then the third is we'll take a look at the total number of products we sold for the entire year. All right. So these are ways for us to be able to tell if we actually made sales, if we actually hit our goal or not. If maybe at the start of the year, just like you had your New Year resolution. Okay. So many persons do New Year resolution at the start of the year. I'm sure you guys do with New Year resolution as well. Okay, so if you know you had a New Year resolution, at the start of the year, do you want to just drop a yes on the chat box? All right, like there was something you set out to achieve. You said, before the end of this year, I'm going to achieve this. Before the end of this year, I'm going to build 5 houses. Okay, before the end of this year, I'm going to, become a data analyst. All right, before the end of this year, I'm going to transition into tech. I'm going to get that high-paying role where I have flexibility, where I work from home, where I get to determine my work hours if I want to freelance. Okay, so I can see yes from Rashida. So it seems just Rashida was the only one that actually, had a New Year resolution. So if that's the case, Rashida, I think after this call, okay, so after this call, just send the mail to us. Okay, just send the mail to us. Tell them that Aisha said is going to give you sweaty Coke. Okay, so do you know what sweaty Coke is? Sweaty Coke is Coke that sweats. That's, it's very chilled. That when you bring it out and you place it on the table, after about 5 to 6 minutes, it sweats. Okay, so it sweats. So it has like as a result of condensation. So you see all those water bubbles around it and all of that. All right, so I'm going to give you 2 sweaty Cokes. So you tell me how you want it. If you want it by cargo or if you want it by shipment. Okay, so you just drop your location, tell me how you want it, and we'll send it over. Okay, so that's for Rashida. So Rashida was the only one that responded. Oh, so Vasak also has a New Year resolution. All right, Vasak, but it's too late already. It's too late. Okay, so next time when I ask a question, ensure you answer almost immediately. So you get to, be the next person to win a sweaty Coke from Aisha. All right then. So this is the sales trend. But like I said, we are going to go ahead and actually now show KPIs. And I'm just going to try to create some space for that. So we have enough space on the dashboard or on the report. All right, and then I can just place the KPIs in there. Okay, so I'm just going to try to arrange all of this. So I mentioned earlier that I love playing with shapes. It's something I do. Okay, it's something I do. So I'm going to insert another shape. So just come over here. I'll insert this shape. All right, so I'm going to place all my KPIs in here. Okay, so I'll just try to resize. Okay. All right. Just delete it. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead. I'll just change the color. So I'll come over to the style and I'll make this white. And that's going to contain all of my KPIs. Amazing. So next, I'm now going to insert my card visual. So the card visual is where I'm going to place all of these different key performance indicators. So I'll click on the card visual, which has the 1, 2, 3 in it as an icon. So I'll click on that. And here is my card visual. So I'm going to populate this. The first thing I would like to see is the total number of customers. So I'm just going to place customer ID in the fields, and I'll just change this to count. And I get to see that we have a total number of 1,000 customers. We have 1,000 customers within the organization for this year. That's for the year. I don't we didn't specify the year. Okay, so we just have the months. But for this particular year, all right, so we have 1,000 customers. So I'm going to just resize this a bit. So we'll come back and style the dashboard later on. Okay, so I'm just going to resize this a bit. So now I can see the total number of customers we sold items for 1,000. The next is I'm going to insert another card visual again. And the next KPI I would like to see would be the total revenue, the amount of money we made. And so I'll just drag my total amount down to fields. And I see that we made 456,000. That's what we made in terms of revenue for this year. And with this, I can track. So maybe we said we'd make 500,000 and we made 456. If that's the case, then that means we fell short of our target a tiny bit. Okay. And then we might want to reorganize, restructure, take a look at things and ensure that that does not repeat itself for the coming year. Okay. So I'm going to resize this and then I would insert another card visual. And then for the last KPI we are going to see, that would be the last KPI we're going to see, that would be the let's say total number of items sold. So that'll be quantity. So we sold a total of 2,514 items. Okay, so with all of these things, I'm able to track the performance of the organization. With all of these things, okay, I'm able to track the performance of the organization. All right, so at this point now, we've been able to do amazing work, amazing stuff, simply amazing. Okay, I'm now going to go ahead and style the dashboard so to make it aesthetically pleasing, like I said earlier, to make it good to the eye, something when you look at it, you want to know more about this. Okay, so I'll just go over that very quickly. So I'm going to begin with the bar chart. Okay, so I'm going to begin with the bar chart. That's the chart that shows not the bar chart, sorry, the column chart. Okay, and then I'm going to come over to the visualizations. First thing first, I would like to change. I'll turn off the grid lines. I don't think that's needed. I believe in less is more. And then I'll just make the columns, dark blue as well. I'll do the same for the bar charts. So I make the columns dark blue. Okay, and turn off the grid lines. For the donut charts, okay, so in the slices, I make this dark blue and maybe make this light blue, a lighter purple or something. Okay, so then for the for my line chart, I'm going to change the lines. Okay, so what color do we even think this is? So I'll be calling it blue in a while, but it's looking like purple, or is it indigo? I was told we have so many colors. I always used to know just primary and secondary colors. And then I was told we have different, like a whole lot of colors. Like, I really can't, like we have 6 different kinds of blue. We have ink blue. We have there are some names I've never even heard. Like there's this pink that looks whitish that's got something else. And I was like, how is someone supposed to remember all of these? All I know, this is blue, but if you know what the color is, the actual name, okay, so maybe you're familiar with colors, you could just drop that on the chat box. What do you think this color actually is? If it's not blue or purple, or if it's, I really don't know. Okay, so I'm just going to change the color of the line to this, and I would also take off the grid lines. Okay, so I would also take off the grid lines, and yeah, so this is looking good. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add some borders. All right, so we are able to tell where the chart ends and where it stops. So I'll just turn on the visual border. I would make this dark blue as well. And I'll just give this a rounded corners of 9 pixels. Okay, so I'll try to resize this a bit. Okay. All right, and then I would also turn on the border. So just do this really quickly. And then this would be nice as well. Next, that's for my donut chart. I turn on the border, 9. And then for my line chart, okay, I turn on the visual border, just change the color and rounded corners of 9. All right, so I make the rounded corners 9 pixels. Okay, so I'm just going to expand, and I think all of these there should be a tiny gap in there. Okay, so just come up a bit. Okay, now onto the next. Oh, so I'm yet to change this. Okay, I have the effects. Okay. So now we are just rounding up building the report. Okay, then we are going to go into deploying, and then we're going to deploying, and then we're going to automating this report. Okay, so for the card visuals, I'm just going to make this look a whole lot nicer. By first of all, I'm just going to change the background. Okay, so I'll make the background dark, and then so this would be 9. Okay, and then the value, I'll just make this white so it's a whole lot more visible. Maybe make this 35 pixels so it isn't that big. And then I'll add in a title, and I'll call this number of customers. Okay, of course, I'll make this white so it's a whole lot more clearer. And this would just be in the middle. Okay, and then next, I'll do the same. So I have the background. Okay, so I have the background in there. Then I have the value, so this would be white. Okay, so I'll just turn off this label and utilize the title instead. So this would be total revenue. Okay, and then the color white, and place this in the middle. Okay, one last thing. This would be 9. Then lastly, I have to give the background so everything looks good. The title, so I'll call this amount or quantity of items, and this would be white. So of course, when you get the recording, you can just follow along. Try to practice so you get to know how to get something like this done as well. Okay, so that will be placed in the middle. I have my okay, so I'm just going to turn this off, and I'll make this white. Okay, so now I'm just going to try to resize all of this. Okay, all right. So looking good. Now, one other thing I would like to do is to insert a slicer that I'm going to utilize to filter my entire dashboard. Okay, so let's say I want to filter the dashboard utilizing the product name. So I can see, oh, this is the specific product, this is a specific product. Or I can see the product that is being purchased the most by, either gender and all of that. So I can just click on the slicer. I click on the slicer and I would insert I would drag product category, and I can now see the difference. I can filter the entire dashboard based on the different products category. So let's say I want to see the gender that purchases beauty products the most. I can click on beauty, and you see is the females. So the females, 54%, they purchase beauty items the most. I can also see maybe for electronics. All right. So for electronics is the male, all right, 50.29%. All right. And then we also see the the different ages, the age groups that purchases all of those products. For example, for the beauty is the Gen X. So Gen X purchases more beauty items. And then we have millennials. And then for the clothing items, we have more of Gen X as well that purchase the clothing items. And then for the electronics, we have the millennials. So you see the entire dashboard changes based on this filter. So I'm now able to take a look at the dashboard very, very closely. Take a look at each and every chart very closely to have more understanding of what is happening. Because earlier I could tell that, oh, so we have 51% female and 50% and 49% male. I can break that down to check for the female and male ratio, for the beauty, for the clothing, for the electronics. Do that for all of the different charts, even for my KPIs. So I can take a look at the total number of customers that purchase electronic products, and I can see we had 342 customers. Total revenue we made from electronics alone was 157,000, and the number of items we sold for electronics alone was what? 849. Slices are absolutely amazing. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and make this a whole lot better in terms of the visual. Okay, so first of all, I'll select tile. I think I'll make this a tile system. Okay, so I'll just bring this to the bottom. Okay, and give this a background. Okay, let's visual border of, I'll make this white. So, and then this will be 9, of course. And then for the slicer header, I'll make this white. Okay, and maybe increase the pixels to, let's say, 14 or maybe 17. And then I would also, for the values, so I think I should have the background in here. All right, so I just make the background this as well. And then the values, I'll make it white, so I get to see what's written in it. And then for the borders, I make the borders white as well. Okay, so now I can see my slicer and I can select any of the slices. One more thing for a dashboard, for us to complete building the dashboard, then we go into deploying, is to give my dashboard a title. And I can do that utilizing the text box. All right, so I can do that utilizing the text box. I can just place this at the edge. Okay, so font size, I'll make this 40, and I'll just say sales dashboard. Okay, I'll call this sales dashboard, and then I'll take off the background, so because I don't want the background, so I'll just increase the transparency to 100, and then of course the text, I'll make the text white. Okay, and yeah, so this is our dashboard. We've been able to build our dashboard. Okay, we've been able to get something fantastic done. But of course, we are not done. We've built, now we're going to go ahead to deploy. What does it even mean to deploy? When you want to deploy a report, what does it even mean? At the moment, I have built a dashboard as a data analyst. I have built a report as a data analyst. But this report can only be viewed by me at the moment, because I built this utilizing Power BI Desktop, and I am the only one that have access to this file. You don't have access to the file. The manager doesn't have access to the file. The CEO doesn't have access to the file. No one else has access to this fantastic reports that I've built. No one else will be able to take a look at this report to know that in terms of the product that we sell the most, that's actually clothing. No one else will be able to take a look at this report to know that the female to male ratio is just close to 1:1. No one else will be able to know. Why? I am the only one that can see the reports at the moment. So, but Aisha, sir, all right, so you are asking this now. You are asking, but Aisha, sir, okay, why? Then what's the point of being a data analyst if there's no way for you to get this data to be viewed by those who need it? This is where deploying comes in. Deploying is also called publishing. And what it does is that you take this particular report and then you publish it in the online version of Power BI in a workspace that different persons within the organization have access to. How do we get this done? I'm going to come over to the home section, and you see I have publish. All right, you see I have publish. So I'm going to click on publish. So by clicking on publish, of course, it's asking me to save. So I'm just going to click on save. I'll call this sales dashboard, sales report. So I'll call this sales report. I'll save. Okay. And then I'm going to be expecting. All right. So you can see this, what comes up. It says publish to Power BI. Now, this is connected to Power BI service. All right. Power BI service is the online version of Power BI. And all of those things you can see in here, you see Live Requires, you see Masterclass, you see Power Platform, you see Test. Those are different workspaces. All right, those are different workspaces that different persons can have access to. Let's say, for example, we have different masterclasses holding at the moment, and this is Data Analytics Masterclass. Everyone within the Data Analytics Masterclass is within a workspace. So if I was to share this report within the Data Analytics workspace, everyone on this call would be able to get access to this. You will have access to this. You'll be able to take a look at the report. You will be able to make data-driven decisions. So I'm going to select a workspace called Masterclass. So I'm just going to click on Masterclass, and then I'll click on Select. All right. So you can see it says Publishing to Power BI. So it's publishing this to Power BI, and it has successfully been published. So I'm just going to click on this to open up the report. All right. So I'm opening up the report now, and just a moment. Okay, so, and you can see this is Power BI service. All right, this is Power BI. So I want you to take note of this. All right, so you don't get confused. This is Power BI. All right, this is Power BI desktop. Then this is Power BI service. The Power BI desktop is an application. The Power BI service is an online application. Now, although the Power BI service is a paid tool, so for you to get access to it, you need to make a subscription. Although there's the free trial, okay, so you can, if you want to practice, you can always just try registering for the just work with the free trial. But in the long run, you would have to make a subscription for you to be able to work with Power BI service. So in Power BI service, you are able to deploy your reports. You are able to ensure that everyone within the organization gets access to this report. So if I was to come over to the workspaces now, you see I have different workspaces. I select the masterclass workspace, which is what I published this application to. All right. And then you see I have my sales report, which is the report I built. All right. And then I have the sales report data set. So this is the data set. This is the report. So everything has been brought to Power BI service. Okay, and I can always come to just a moment. Okay, so I can always also add more persons. Okay, so I can grant people access within the organization to this particular workspace by just coming over to manage access. So I click on manage access. I get all of this. All right, and I can add people or groups. So I can just click on add people or group. I can search for someone. So I have Joanna. So I'm just going to search for Joanna. So I all right, so yes, Joanna. So I can click on Joanna and I click on add. Okay, so you see added. All right, so I made Joanna a viewer. So now Joanna is going to be sent an email that it now has access to this particular report that I built. All right, and when I click on manage access again, you see I have Joanna in here. So Joanna now has access to this report, has access to the dashboard. So he can view it. He can take a look at what I worked on and utilize that to make data-driven decisions within the organization. Deploying. All right. So there are other aspects of deploying. All right. But this is just the basics. Okay. So we've been able to take that report we built locally within Power BI desktop. We've brought it over to Power BI service where other people within the organization can have access. Lastly, we are now going to automate. Okay. By automating, we are now going to make the data refresh by itself automatically. What do I mean? Now, we've just analyzed sales data. All well and good. Okay, we've just analyzed the sales data. So if I was to click on the sales report, it will take me back to that report within the Power BI service. Okay, so we just analyzed sales data. But sales occur every single day, at least for a bubbling company. Okay, sales occur every single day. You sell an item today, you sell an item tomorrow, you sell an item next week. If that's the case, does that mean that you're not going to have to build the report every single time? All right, because today today we had 1,000 customers. Tomorrow, 2 customers come in. All right, and then it's no longer 1,000 customers, it's now 1,002 customers. Does that mean that you're not going to have to build a dashboard over and over again to ensure that you keep in with the times? All right, this is where automating comes in. So by automating the report, we are going to make it so that the data set will be refreshed by itself based on when we want. Okay, so maybe I want to refresh the data set every 1 week. All right, every 1 week. So at the end of 1 week, Power BI service, I don't even need to, open up Power BI service. I don't need to do that. Power BI service will just scan through my device. It would locate the data set, scan through the data set, check if any new information was added. And if that's the case, it would add in the information to the sales report and then refresh the sales report so that when you go ahead and you click on sales report, for example, okay, you click on sales report, instead of you seeing 1,000 customers, you would now see something like 1,010 customers, 1,020 customers. Instead of you seeing 456,000 in terms of revenue, maybe you will now be seeing 500,000 in revenue based on the additional sales that have been made. Are we together, everyone? All right. So we are understanding what automating is all about, right? Is that the case? Is that the case? Are we excited to, because we've just built the dashboard. Okay, we've just built the reports. We've deployed the reports. Now we want to go ahead to automate the reports. All right, so OG just responded. Okay, so OG, I think sweaty cook for you as well. Okay, so yeah, so that's the case. Okay, that is the case. So now let's go ahead. Let's actually see how we can automate these particular reports. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I come over to my masterclass workspace. So this is a workspace, and then this is the dashboard. Close to the dashboard, okay, so close to the dashboard, you see I have this I have this icon. This is when I hover around it, it will schedule refresh. So I have the automatic with the refresh now. Refresh now means that you need to come every time. So maybe you come today, you come over here, you click on refresh to refresh the data. You come tomorrow, you refresh the data. That is, a bit bothersome. All right, that is a bit bothersome. But what I want to do is to build a robot that will be helping me to refresh this by itself. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do, to build a robot that's going to help me to, be refreshing this by itself. Okay, so I'm not going to click on this, on the schedule refresh. So I click on the schedule refresh, and then it's going to take me to this page. All right, it's going to take me to this page. Now, in this page, I can see information concerning my data set, concerning the refresh. Now, someone asks, how do you track performance after automation? Okay, so this is, I can come over here, I can take a look at the dashboards, the general. I'm going to get an overview of how many times the data has been refreshed. I'm going to get an overview of what the data currently contains, and all of those things. So I am still in tune with the information that is within the data set. All right, so you don't have a case whereby you thought the data set had 1,000 rows. It's not 1,020 rows, but you don't know because you've been kept outside the loop. Okay, so now to go ahead and actually build that robot that would help me to come over here from time to time to click on the refresh button. All right, I come in semantic models at the moment. Okay, I'm going to scroll down, and you see I have what is called the gateway, cloud, and connection. All right, so by clicking on this, you see I have a personal gateway. So the personal gateway, you get, it's very easy to get that downloaded. So it's on-premise gateway. Okay, so you get it downloaded, you get it set up, and then the data source credentials. All right, so that looks good. I'm now going to come over to the refresh. So you see I have a refresh at the bottom. So I click on that. It says define a data refresh schedule to import data from the data source into the semantic model. So I'm going to turn this on. I click on, and I see the refresh frequency. how frequently do I want the data set to be refreshed? Do I want it to be refreshed every day? That is, we make sales today. The data set has been refreshed. All right. So it's keeping up with information in real time. Do I want it daily? Or do I want it weekly? I'm going to select weekly in this case because I don't want it daily. Okay. So weekly means every week it's going to be what? Refreshed. All right. And then you can pick the time zone because you need to specify the time you want it to be refreshed. Do you want it to be refreshed 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 p.m., 2 p.m., and all of that? So you need to select the time zone if you want, and then you can select the days. All right. That's what days would which day would actually determine the week. All right. So maybe I want it to refresh Monday, every Monday. I can just take a look, just uncheck all of this, and I have Monday in here. I can add another time if I want it to refresh twice a week. So I just add another time. And then if there's a refresh failure, so let's say there's something that happened, because of course, like I said, I'm building a robot that is going to help me refresh. And thing about robots is that from time to time, there could be something wrong with it, okay? In the sense that instead of it to refresh, it's unable to do that. And yeah, so with this, I'm kept in the loop. So if there's any time that the system tried to refresh the data set, but there was a problem, it would send me a message. It would send me an email. That's the reason why it says send refresh failure notifications to semantic model owner. Semantic model owner means the person that created the report. All right. Or I can select these contacts. I can pick some persons within the organization that I want all of that. I want that I want the failure notifications to be sent to. So I can just type in something. Maybe I want to send it to, let's say Alex, for example. All right. So you see, I can select Alex Wilbur. Okay. And all of that. So I have different people that I can this decide that, oh, if there's a failure, don't just send it to me alone, still send it to these guys. Okay, but I'm just going to leave this as semantic model owner. All I need to do now is I go ahead, I click on apply. It says sales reports refresh schedule updated. Your updates to the sales reports refresh schedule changes have been applied. Okay, so now I've successfully done that. Every time, so you can see that where I now have the next refresh. So you can see the time I chose. All right, so I have on the 4th, all right, on the 4th of on the 22nd of April, okay, 2024. So 22nd should be Monday, okay, because don't forget I did choose Monday. All right, so 22nd is Monday. So this data set is going to get refreshed on Monday by 1 a.m. Fantastic. All right, so I built my dashboard, I built my report, I deployed my report, published it in Power BI service, and now I've automated the report. So I don't have to be checking over and over again, multiple times. Build, deploy, automate. Are we together, everyone? Are we excited? All right. So we just completed the first phase. All right. We've built this. Okay. So I showed you this, and you've seen how you could get this done. All right. We actually just completed the sales dashboard. Now we are going to move on to the next section, which is what we're going to see. How can you get started as a data analyst? Do we want to know how we can get started as a data analyst? Because everything I just did now is the work of a data analyst. All right. Everything I just did is the work of a data analyst. All right. So do you want to know how you can get started as a data analyst? Are we good? Like previously, if you know you are ready, all right, to get into the second section, just send in a yeah to the chat box. Yeah. So Fash says yes. I'm not a yes guy. Okay, I'm a yeah guy. Okay, so send yeah to the chat box. Let me know that you are ready. All right, we just completed the first section. Let's move into the second section. So you get to learn how you can be a data analyst, how you can perfect the skills, not just perfecting the skills, how you can get a job with the skills. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So moving on, people. Next, we have who is a data analyst? Okay, what must you even do to become a data analyst? What is the criteria? What is that thing that you need to meet for you to call yourself a data analyst? What is that? But who is a data analyst, first of all? For those of us just joining in late, you might not have heard But for those of us that joined in late, you might not have heard the previous definition I gave concerning who a data analyst is. And I mentioned that a data analyst is a person that is what? That is in charge of analyzing and interpreting data to what? Get data-driven decisions. Okay, that is who a data analyst does. That's who a data analyst is, and that is what a data analyst does. And we've done that. We've taken a look at the data. We've converted that raw data into a fantastic report that we can get insights from. For you to actually become a data analyst, there are certain things you need to do, certain skills you need to learn. All right. You need to, first of all, know how to solve a problem. Because it's one thing for you to analyze data. It's another thing for you to be able to solve a problem using that data. All right. Because let's say we were not making enough sales. Let's say the sales we were making was just 457 or thereabouts, as we saw in the report. And we are looking to make 500, we're looking to make 600. From the data, you've seen that, we had a drop in sales in January. Our peak periods were in May and I think October, if I'm not mistaken now. All right. As a data analyst, you want to be able to profile solutions to say that, oh, this is what I think we did right in May. And this is what I think we can bring over to the month of January. So we do fantastically well. We take sales up and we make some more money. So you need to be able to solve a problem as a data analyst, all right? And that is why in the data analytics program here at 10 Analytics, the first thing you learn is problem solving. That is your very first class. How can you solve problems? You get to learn about different problem solving techniques, such as the McKinsey model. You get to learn the 5 whys. You get to learn about, you get to learn about the 80-20 principle and, all of that. All right. So problem solving, a very, very crucial part of the data of a data analyst. Next is Excel. Excel is like your bread and butter. Many people think that Excel is Microsoft Word, but for numbers. All right. Many persons, they think that Excel is Microsoft Word, but for numbers. Okay, that's not really the case. Excel is not just for typing in numbers, for creating tables. Excel can actually be used extensively for analyzing data. So you're going to learn how you can work with Microsoft Excel for data analytics. And of course, you move on to the structured query language. You get to learn how you can work with SQL, because in most organizations today, they store their data in what we call a database. And you would need to understand the language of structured query language, okay? You would need to understand SQL so you can extract data from that database, go ahead to analyze, and go ahead to give your insights. Next is you will learn how to work with Power BI, which of course we just worked with today. So you get to learn how to work with Power BI Desktop, which is what we use to build the report. You also get to learn how to work with Power BI Service, which is what we use in deploying and automating the report. So there are a whole lot of other things. You have the apps within the Power BI Service. All right. So you get to learn all of that. And of course, you get to learn Tableau. Tableau and Power BI do similar things. Okay. But one thing we want here, that one thing that we've done is that you get to learn Power BI, you get to learn Tableau. So it doesn't really matter what the recruiters want. So if they want Tableau, you're good to go. If they want Power BI, you're good to go. So we arm you with we arm you with these two skill sets, Power BI, Tableau. Very, very necessary for you to be a data analyst. And of course, you need to know how to tell stories with your data storytelling. You need to be able to give a presentation based on the report you built. You need to be able to capture the attention of stakeholders, while you are giving a presentation where you're telling them that, oh, this is actually what the data says, and this is what I think we should do. That is why data storytelling is necessary. And currently, we are in the AI world at the moment. So in the past couple of years, we've seen an advancement in AI. And some persons say, oh, AI is here to take my job. AI is here to take my job. That's not really the case, okay? AI is not here to take jobs, but rather people who can use AI are going to take the jobs of those that can't use AI. And that is the reason why you're going to learn how you can leverage AI, that's ChatGPT, for analytics. You get to learn how you can utilize this particular tool, place it in your role, as a data analyst, and become more efficient. Okay, and lastly, you get to learn Microsoft Fabric, so very important. Microsoft Fabric is a relative new tool in Power BI in Microsoft, and it's used for collaboration within different teams. So let's say in your organization, you have the data scientist, you have the data analyst, you have the data engineer. The Microsoft Fabric is a place whereby you get to share ideas, you get to share data, you get to collaborate, and all of that. Okay, so you are going to be learning Microsoft Fabrics. Okay, all of those things are the key learning areas that we offer here at Analytics and that you need to become a data analyst. The learning timeline is in 4 months. So if you go register for the data analytics program, you are going to be learning for 4 months. All right. Not learning for 4 months, but you are going to be with us, all right, within the program for 4 months. You will learn for 3 months. Okay, so you get to learn all of these tools. That's the problem solving, the Excel, the SQL, all of these tools. You get to learn all of these things in 3 months, and then you intern for 1 month. So you're going to have a fantastic internship with us because we are trying to build your experience level. Okay, because one thing that some persons are scared of, like, oh, so if I go through the program in 4 months, would I get enough experience to land the job? Yes, because of the way the program is structured. For each and every class, you will be learning how you can actually apply Excel, how you can apply SQL, how you can apply Power BI and Tableau in solving real life problems. So you are going to be given a real life problem, and then you are going to learn how you can use this tool in solving that problem. All right. So you're not just learning how you can use the tools, but you're learning the actual applications of these tools. And as you're doing that, you're building experience, you're building your portfolio, you're building projects. After you've done all of that in class, you then get to intern with us for 1 month. Okay, and the classes are on Monday, on Saturdays and Sundays. So we have classes on Saturdays and Sundays. On the Saturday class is a live class whereby you get to speak with your facilitator. All right, just like the way we are currently on the call now. So we are conversing. The chat box is your best friend at the moment. Okay, that's what you get to do on Saturdays. So you get to have a one-on-one discussion with the facilitator. You get to practice alongside. You get to ask questions. You get to learn. All right, and then the morning classes, so we have the classes section for those in Europe and those in North America. So it doesn't matter what part of the world you're from, we have a class for you. Okay, so for the morning section, that's for those in Europe, that's in the Europe time zone, UK and Africa. Okay, the time is from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay, that's 11 to 2 p.m. West African time, okay, or UK time. And those for the evening classes, all right, that's for those in North America, that's Canada, US, and also the South American region. All right, so you get to have classes 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Okay, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard. And that is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African Time. Okay, and then for the Sunday classes, what you now get is what we call Watch Me Do It videos. All right, these videos are bit-sized that would introduce a topic to you, introduce a new concept, introduce a new tool. So you get to learn all of these things on Sundays, and then you get to now practice what you learned in the previous Sunday with your facilitator in the next class. So it helps for easier assimilation, it helps for better understanding, and it would help you to know places that you might not really be clear on that for that Sunday, and they get to ask those questions while you're working on those things again in the Saturday class. All right, so Saturdays, live classes. Sundays, you get self-paced watch me do it videos. All right, and yeah, so that's what you must learn to become a data analyst. And data analysis is currently in high demand. Data analytics is very, very much in high demand. As we have seen from what we've analyzed, we saw that at first we started, when I asked, what products do we think, or rather the age category, many persons said Gen Z, because that is the common, that's what most persons would say, taking a look at the products. But that was not really the case. So you need a data analyst that will be able to get all of these crucial facts and figures from the data, so you can build on those decisions build on those facts and figures, make data-driven decisions as a company. So for every standard company, there is a data analyst. All right. So next is just building on what I mentioned as to, why data analysts are strategic in any organization, why they are really in high demand. So I mentioned that they need to actually take a look at the data, figure out the facts and figures, okay, and so the organization can make data-driven decisions based on that. All right. Without the data analyst, you won't know what happened in the organization, which of course is what descriptive analytics, and you won't be able to tell why it happened, which is what diagnostic analytics. And I'm sure in every business, you need to know, even in your business. So if you are a sole entrepreneur, okay, or you have a company, you are a CEO, I'm sure you need to know all of these things in your organization. You need to know what is happening, and you need to know why it's happening. You need a data analyst. Okay, you might not know, but you need a data analyst. So data analysts are very much in high demand. And all right, the average salary for a data analyst in the UK is about £40,000 per year. That's per annum. And then in Canada, it's around 64,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, 84,000 $84,000. Okay, so these are the averages. So you get to have an idea of what you are going to be earning when you begin working as a data analyst. Okay, and as a data analyst, one crucial thing that you would have is career progression. You're able to see, oh, so this is where I'm at for this year. Next year, I'm looking to do this. I'm looking to get promoted. I'm looking to become maybe a senior data analyst, or I'm looking to become the manager. So you have a career progression. You have something you're working for, which for many jobs, that might not really be the case. Okay. Now, what separates you from the competition? Because I'm sure we all know of Kunle. Is there a Kunle on the call? So I don't think there's a Kunle on the call, but I'm sure we all know of Kunle. It's because who is Kunle? Okay, who is Kunle? Okay, who is Kunle? Kunle is that guy that you know. All right, you know Kunle. You think you don't know Kunle, but you know Kunle. Okay, Kunle is that guy that told you that he's a data analyst, that he learns data analysis. He can use Excel, he can use Power BI, he can use all of those tools. He told you this in the year 2019, and he said that he's going to work as a data analyst. And today, Kunle is not a data analyst. Kunle is still doing what he was doing previously. And you're not like, Aisha, why would that be different for me? Why would I not end up as Kunle? Everything you're saying now, oh, it's all sweet to the ears. Oh, yeah, so you can do this, you can do this. I earn $84,000, oh, fantastic. But are those not just words? What would actually make me be able to get this job? Because I'm not just interested in the skills. Yeah. I want to be a data analyst. But the reason I want to be a data analyst is because I'm looking to what? To earn. I'm looking to what? I'm looking to earn. To earn more, to have flexibility, to be in a data analyst job role, not just to have the skills. Now, the reason why Kunle remained in whatever it is he was doing before, that he was not able to fully transition into tech, that he was not able to fully transition into becoming a data analyst. The reason for that is Kunle only had the first 50%. Kunle only had what? The first 50%. Kunle was lacking something very, very critical. And what is that? The other 50%. The first 50% Kunle had was the technical skills. So Kunle could use Power BI, Kunle could use Excel, but it was lacking the other 50%. And what is that? Kunle was unable to sell himself. Kunle was unable to let people know that he can actually do these things. Kunle was unable to have a fantastic CV. Kunle was unable to get a job interview. Talk less of passing the interview and getting the job. Kunle was invisible to recruiters. How can you not be Kunle? How can you not be Kunle? Okay, but you get what I mean, all right? So the reason for that, what is not going to position you for success? What is going to make you different from all those other persons, from other Kunles out there, all right, are these key things that I'm going to be mentioned, that we're going to take a look at now, all right? In analytics, we are not just about the technical side of things. Of course, granted, you are going to learn about these skills. You are going to learn how to use Excel. You are going to learn how to use Power BI. You are going to learn how to use Tableau. But it doesn't just stop there. We are going to provide you with the other 50%. And I'm talking about the additional employability services. Okay. For this year, we've been able to divide these services into 3 different levels: level 1, level 2, and level 3. What is within level 1? Taking a look at level 1, we have the CV review session, whereby we have a session with you, okay, whereby we have a session whereby we teach you how to properly build a standard CV. Because many persons are often unable to get their foot in the door. And what do I mean by getting your foot in the door? Getting your CV screened, and for your CV to pass the screening process, and then you are called for an interview. When you're called for an interview, that means your foot is through the door, but you're not yet in the organization. Then, you still did a lot of work, okay? So some persons are often unable to do the basic, to get their foot in the door. And that's because they don't have a standard CV. Many companies nowadays utilize what we call the applicant tracking system, a machine that takes a look at different CVs and then decides if that CV is suitable for the job role. So we are going to teach you how you can build a fantastic CV, not just a fantastic CV, but a CV that passes the ATS test, a CV that is built based on the different job descriptions, because you don't want a situation whereby you're utilizing just one CV to apply for 500 roles. So, because many persons do that. So maybe you go on LinkedIn or you go somewhere, you see a job, you apply with that CV. You see the other job, you apply with the same CV. You utilize one CV to apply for 10 different roles. It doesn't work like that. If that's what you're doing, the likelihood you're going to get a job is very, very slim, I must tell you. Okay, so we will show you how you can tailor your CV to each and every job description. And even if you think you don't have experience, so let's say you're working as a teacher at the moment. Oh, so I don't really have experience, in data analytics. So if I go ahead and I register for this course and I take the course, and most jobs out there are saying, oh, I want someone with 5 years experience, I want someone with 8 years, with 10 years, with 20 years experience. Okay, how would I fare? One thing you don't know is that experience is experience. As a teacher, we would show you how you can take all of those experience you've gotten and tailor it into data analytics. So in your CV, you are not going to say I worked as a teacher. You are going to say I worked as a data analyst in this particular section. So maybe in the school you taught, and then the job description will be something like analyze students' data, took note of the attendance trend of the students, and then predicted the trend for the attendance rate for the next month. And with this, I was able to taking a look at all of these criteria, I was able to determine and identify those students that would most likely not come to school the following day. I identified this, I reached out to them to see how I could help them. I was able to increase attendance rate by a whopping 30%. All right. So I just said that out of my head. Okay. So, but there's a whole lot you can do. So it doesn't matter the experience you have. Tailor that experience to serve as an experience, to serve as a data analytics experience. All right. So that's it for the CV review session. Next is the LinkedIn optimization. All right. Next is the LinkedIn optimization. What do you really need? What do you really mean? What do we will need for what? Let me rephrase. Okay. Why LinkedIn optimization? LinkedIn is what I like to call the Facebook for professionals. All right. LinkedIn is what I like to call what? Facebook for professionals. Now, what do I mean by Facebook for professionals? Okay, what do I mean by Facebook for professionals? We know Facebook, all right? LinkedIn is like Facebook, but for professionals. That is just that place where you post pictures, you do this, all of those things, all of those pictures, make them professional. That's what LinkedIn is. In LinkedIn, you have recruiters. I have recruited a number of times from LinkedIn. Facts, all right? And how did I do this? I go out. So let's say there was a time I actually wanted to, recruit Power Platform developer. Okay, so I went on LinkedIn and I searched Power Platform developer. I got a few profiles. I clicked on some profiles that the first few profiles that I saw. I clicked on them. I went over to their profile section. I took a look at the profile section to see if there's any proof that you are really a Power Platform developer. All right, that if there's any proof that you actually have the skill, okay, and then I think in the 10th profile I opened, I saw someone with the skills I was looking for based on the things he was posting. So he was posting things, applications he had built, things he had automated. And with that, I reached out and, we took a conversation from there. And then I said, you should send in your CV. Now, note, this particular person did not come to meet me to send a CV. No, I searched for this person myself. And then when I thought that this person was the right fit, I told this person to send in the CV for that role. Need that you're leveraging it optimally. And how do you do that? By optimizing your profile and showing that your profile speaks what you do, and showing that when we could, they would know that you are the right person for the job. All of those things we are going to show you on LinkedIn optimization. So you now even get to the point whereby instead of you applying for jobs, you are being called for jobs. All right. Now, next thing you're going to learn, still within level one. All right, still within level one. Next thing you're going to learn is the Upwork optimization. Some of us, we want to be freelancers. Oh, I don't like the 9 to 5. Oh, I don't like working 9 to 5. I want to determine when I work. I want to have that freedom. All right. I want to determine my working hours. I don't want to work under anyone per se. Then Upwork is for you. Upwork is a platform whereby you get to see different freelancing roles. So if you're interested in being a freelancer, then the Upwork optimization classes, the Upwork optimization sessions that we're going to have is for you. So we'll show you how you can better leverage Upwork. So Upwork has a currency system called Connect. So you get to learn what Connect is. You get to learn how to write fantastic proposals, because proposals are actually what gets you the job if you are on Upwork. Okay, so you get to learn how to write fantastic proposals to ensure that the recruiter, thinks you are the one for the job, and all of that in Upwork. Next, we have navigating the job market. Some of us, we are new. Maybe we just migrated. Maybe we're in the UK. Maybe we're in Canada. Maybe we're in France. Maybe you're somewhere. You just migrated. So you are looking to get a job, but you don't really understand how the job market works. All right, because so you're just there. You don't know. Oh, but like, how does it work? Is this what you do? Is that what you do? Is this what you do? We know that's the case. And that's why we have navigated the job market, whereby we bring people that have been where you have been previously and have succeeded. They have gotten those jobs. And now they will tell you what they did right, so you can replicate and do that. And they would also tell you what they did wrong, so you don't do that. So you only do things that are right, and that would speed up the process of ensuring that you do get that role. Okay, next we have the job and interview preparation. The CV review section: ensure you have a fantastic CV. LinkedIn optimization: ensure that your LinkedIn is looking nice, that recruiters call you. Upwork: ensure you're able to write fantastic proposals to get the job. Navigating the job market ensures that you know how to navigate the job market within the continent or within the country that you reside. All of those things would help you get your foot in the door. All of these things will help you open the door. But there's something else you need to get into the organization, because some persons get it wrong in the job interview stage. They've gotten their interview, their CVs have been passed. They've been called for an interview. They've received an email. They've been told, oh, so see us by this time. Oh, we'd like to hear from you. We think you're the right person for the job. And then when they get to the interview stage, they flop. And it's all back to square one. So what we do is that we offer job and interview preparation. That is, you've gotten the job, not you've gotten called for the job interview. You get to schedule a session with us. You get to book a session with us where you get to, so you book a session where you get to have a one-on-one meeting with a professional, with an employability professional that would tell you what you should be expecting for that in that interview, that would prepare you adequately. All right, tell you questions that you probably need to answer, tell you the right way to answer questions, talking about the stand, the seat approach, tell you how you can actually do things such as the salary negotiation, job and interview preparation. Next, we have the recommendation and reference letters. You've gotten the job. All right. You were fantastic in the interview because of the interview preparation session you had. But now the recruiter wants to know, the recruiters, they're impressed. They want to give you the job, but they want to know, are you who you say you are? All right, because you could just be spitting fables within, in the interview stage. You could just be telling them, oh, so I built 5 airplanes within 2 minutes. Okay, I built an entire country in 6 days. Okay, and they're impressed. But they want to know, is that true? So what they do is that they reach out to your last employer and they ask for a reference or recommendation letter. Each and every one of our participants, one thing you get from us when you register for this program, all right, is that you get to place on your LinkedIn data analytics consultant with 10 analytics. As soon as you register for this program, you automatically become an employee with this organization. And in so doing, whenever recruiters ask for a reference letter, you can always send them to us. And you would, of course, get a fantastic reference letter from us to ensure that you land that role. All of these things I just mentioned, level 1. What is level 2? Level 2, we have the weekly mentorship sessions. You've been applying for jobs, you've been getting rejections. You've been applying for jobs, you've not even been getting rejections. You are literally getting nothing. Because there are some cases whereby you apply for a job, you don't get a congratulations, you don't get an unfortunately. All right, because that's the way rejection letters usually start. Thank you very much for applying. It was nice to have you. Unfortunately, okay, so you're not getting congratulations, you're not getting unfortunately. In some cases, you're getting unfortunately. So when that happens, it seems to have a way of bringing down the morale. So you might feel down. Oh, so I've been applying, I've applied for 20 roles, but nothing is happening. All right, nothing is happening. I'm not getting, so you need someone to tell you that keep on trying. All right, keep on trying. That even the best of us still get rejections to this point. You need someone to complain to. You need someone to tell you it's going to be all right. And that's what the mentorship session is all about. All right. The mentorship session is where we get to build you up once more. All right. Where we get to build you up, where we get to follow you and to ensure that you don't give up till you get that role. Because trust me, you will get that role. And then we have on the job support. So you've gotten the role, but you were told to do something that you are not really familiar with. You were told to build something, or you're told to analyze a certain kind of data set. You're not really familiar with that, and you're confused, you're panicking. Don't worry, we have on the job support. So when you get that role, you can always reach out to us. Oh, so this was what the organization told me to do. Oh, I'm confused. How can I go about this? And then we'll tell you what you can do. We'll show you how you can, just help you out. Oh, so just click on this, do this, and you're good to go. All right. So even when you get the job, we are still here with you. That's level 2. What is level 3? Now, something that we brought about this year. Okay, this was not available in the year 2023. This is an initiative we started in the year 2024. And what is that? We are guaranteeing our participants that you are going to be getting one job. This is a guarantee to you that you're going to get one job interview, at least one interview, 1 month after completing your program with us. It's our guarantee. That's our promise to you. This is something we started in the year 2024. Okay, that you're going to get one job interview after completing your training with us, as long as you follow all of the instructions we'll give you. All right, so we have level 1, level 2, level 3. All of those 3 things would definitely ensure that you don't end up as Kunle. All right, that you are not a data analyst that is not a data analyst, but you are a data analyst that is really a data analyst professional, a data analytics professional. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Okay, so let's get into the classroom. Let me show you what the classroom looks like, because I'm sure some of us might be wondering, oh, so if I register for the class, how am I going to, is there a place we are going to learn and all of that? All right. So of course, you're going to have sessions on Zoom, on Google Meet, and all of that. So you're going to be placed in the WhatsApp group chat where you get to communicate with your facilitator, with your program coordinators, and then you're also going to be placed in a classroom. Now, what does the classroom look like? Okay, so this is, I'm just going to open up the classroom so we get to see that. Okay, so just a moment. All right, so I'll show you what the classroom looks like. All right, so this is the classroom. Okay, so you can see I have different, all right, so I'm going to select the data analytics class so you get to see what the data analytics class contains. All right, so this is what the classroom looks like. In the classroom, you get all of the recordings, all sessions are recorded. So let's say you miss a class. Oh, so you've been attending classes, but there was a particular weekend whereby you were quite busy, or maybe there was an emergency and you were unable to attend class. All the sessions are recorded and they are going to be uploaded in the classroom. All right. So if I scroll all the way down, you get to see the first thing we have in here is the onboarding material. So when you join the session, you get onboarded. You receive your welcome kit. You get to watch different videos on how you can navigate the classroom, how you can save, the watch me do it videos, how you can download your different the different tools you're going to be working with. That's talking about the Postgre, the Power BI, the Microsoft Excel. So you get all of those things. Okay, that's the onboarding materials. And then you have an onboarding session whereby you get to speak with your programs coordinators and you get to just familiarize yourself with, the other participants. And then you get your first class, problem solving class. So you see the class slide. All right. So this is what the class looks like. All right. So this is a case study. All right. So you get to have you see your facilitator. This is a slide that you are going to be working on. All right. So you're going to be learning about the different problem solving techniques, like I said. And then let's say you miss the class. So these are the login details for you to log in to the class. And then let's say you miss a class. This is the recording. So you can just click on that and you get to view what actually happened in class. So even if you were in class, but you would like to view the class again, you can do that. And even if you missed class and you want to go back to the class, you can do that. And then of course, you have the Microsoft Excel Watch Me Do It videos, which is sent on Monday. All right, on Sunday, sorry. Okay. And then you get the model slides and data set, and you get the videos. So these are bit-sized videos. So the videos are showing you, are introducing you to Excel. All right, they're introducing you to Excel, which you are going to have in the next Saturday. So you can see MS Excel Live Class 1. So everything you learned in here, you are now going to practice live with a facilitator, whereby you get to have a discussion, you get to ask questions and all of that. Okay, so this is the material again. So you get to see this is the class slide. So I can click on these, I can scroll down. All right, I can scroll down, take a look at the case study, and I have the data sets as well. So within the case study, you see a link for you to download the data set. Okay, and then we have the login details, we have the class recording. Okay, so we have MS Excel Watch Me Do It video model 2 for Sunday, and then you get your second Excel live class and all of that. All right, and you can see we have CV review sessions, which you're going to have, and of course body mentorship. Okay, whereby you're going to speak with people that have been in the same situation you are in. So you get to speak with alumni that joined the program as you, that at this particular point they were, they didn't have a job, the job they were doing at that moment, they didn't really like it. And you get to hear how they transition. You get to be mentored by them. Like I said, you get to learn what they did wrong, so you don't do that. And then you learn what they did right, so you can replicate that. Fantastic, if you ask me. All right. And if I scroll up, so you see you have different mentorship sessions. So mentorship sessions are weekly, like I said. And then if I scroll up, so you see your SQL classes, you see there's so this is Upwork. Okay, so you can see Upwork optimization session, which I spoke about. You have the recording, the login details, and then you see what we have: important materials. So in the important materials section, you get to have a CV template. You get to book an interview prep session. So if maybe you have an interview, So you can just click on any of these links. So you click on the link, it will take you to a calendar. You get to pick the dates. You get to pick the date, and that's, so let's say you want an interview prep on Sunday or maybe on Monday or Tuesday. You get to select that. You select the time, and then you book an interview prep with a professional, and then you join in the call when it gets to that date, and you get to have a one-on-one interaction, and you get to be prepped for your for your interview to ensure you ace that. All right. So this is just a sneak peek as to what the classroom actually does look like. All right. Everything is well structured, everything is well arranged. You get to have all of that information within, I think it's called grabs of your fingertips or within your fingertips or something. Okay. All right. So moving on. Okay, just a moment. All right, so our next cohort is beginning 4th of May. All right, so on the 4th of May, so we have a cohort every month. All right, and the next cohort is going to begin 4th of May. That's the first Saturday of the month of May. And for this cohort, all right, this is the price list. All right, that's for the data analysis program, because I'm sure we've all been wondering also, what's the cost to join the program? Okay, so this is the cost. So we have the full amount, which is if you want to pay in dollars, that's $750. If you're looking to pay in pounds, that's £625. If you're looking to pay in euros, that's 730 euros, Canadian dollars. And if you're looking to pay in naira, that's a total of 900,000 naira. Okay, now last month, we had the IWD scholarship, where we gave 50% discount to the first 300 women and the first 50 men. 50%. So all of these prices were slashed by half. 50%. Okay. And at the end of that IWD, we got some requests. Some persons reached out and were like, oh, please, can something be done for us? I wanted to key into the discount, but as a result of limited funds, I was not able to do that. Please, can something be done for us? And as a result of that request, we actually then decided to give that for this particular month, for the month of May alone. We decided to give a discount, okay, 33% off. 33% off. So this is the actual amount for the data analytics course, for data analytics program. But we are giving a 33% discount to the first 20 people to register. First 20, that's just it. Once we get to the 21st person, it's going to revert back to the full amount. Okay, so for the first 20 persons, you get 32% off, and then you get to have the discount price. So instead, if you want to pay in dollars, instead of paying $750, you get to pay $600. If you're looking to pay in pounds, you get to pay £500. If you're looking to pay in naira, you get to pay 600,000 naira. And something we decided to do for you guys is that you can also pay in 2 installments. Okay, so you can pay in 2 installments. That's the discounted amount. If you do key into the discount, you can pay in 2 installments. So you can pay the first installment. Okay, so the first installment, so let's say you're paying in naira. Okay, so for the first installment, you get to pay the total of 400,000. All right, before the 30th of April. Okay, so before the 30th of April, you get to pay 400,000 naira. All right, and then you get to pay the balance of 200,000 naira before the 30th of May. That's 1 month into the program. All right. So if you don't have the full amount at the moment, that's you don't have the 600,000, and that's you're part of the first 20 persons, of course, and you don't have the 600,000, you can just make the first installment of 400,000, and then before the end of 1 month into the program, that's the 30th of May, you can pay the balance of 200,000. Okay. And one other thing that we've decided to do for you guys is, for those that are looking to key into the discount, but at the moment you don't have 400,000. Okay, that's the first installment. That is, you want to be among the first 20 persons, and of course, slots are filling in very, very fast. Maybe by the end of this week or by the end of tomorrow, even. All right, the discount will be gone. But you don't want that to be the case. You want to actually key into the discount, but at the moment you don't have 400,000. Okay, so what you could do is that you could just make a payment. So let's say you could make maybe 200,000, maybe 200,000, as the case may be. Just make a deposit. Okay, so by making a deposit, you key into the discount. You ensure that you are part of the first 20 persons that get the discount, and then before the 30th of April, okay, before the 30th of April, you get to balance the first installment. All right. So let's say you pay 250,000. All right, to key into the discount. So you ensure you pay the discounted amount instead of the full amount. Now, you pay 250,000, you key into the discount. Before 30th of April, you get to balance 150,000 to have your so you can balance your first installment. All right. And then 1 month into the program, you get to pay the 200,000, which is going to serve as the second installment. All right. So you need to key into this very, very fast. Slots are filling in. First 20 persons, 30% discount. Slots are limited. Okay. Now, this is the payment structure, and you can pay online. So my colleagues have already been sending, they have sent in the link. That's the payment link. I'm going to show us what the link looks, what the payment platform looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to open that up so we get to know what it actually looks like in case if you're trying to make payments at the moment. Okay, so as soon as you click on that payment link, which is currently on the chat box, it's going to take you to this section, which is called 10 Analytics Enrollment Center. So this is the store. Okay, and the first thing you see is access to our program brochures. So let's say you want to learn more about data analytics and you want to know, the things you'll be learning, the facilitators that will be taking you. You can just click on this and you get to see the brochures for each and every one of our programs. That's I'm talking about data analytics, data science, anything you're interested in. Okay, you click on that to get more information on all of that. And as you can see, it says that our IWD scholarship offer is officially closed because, like I mentioned, last month we gave 50% discount to the first 300 women and the first 50 men to commemorate the International Women's Day. Okay. All right. So now you can scroll down. So this is for when you've actually made payments. So when you've made payments, you want to come back here, click on upload your receipt here to go ahead to upload your receipt. So we get a confirmation, and then subsequently you'll be sent a welcome kit, and then you get onboarded into the class. So as soon as you make payments, please come over here and upload your payments received. Okay. So if I scroll down, if you want to make a direct transfer as well, so this is our British account. All right. So this is our UK account. So you can pay indirectly to the UK account. This is our USD account, and then this is our Canadian account, and of course our Euro account and our Nigerian account details. So you get to see all of these different account details within the payment link. So we have the if you want to pay in pounds, you want to pay in dollars, you want to pay in Canadian dollars, you want to pay in euro, or you want to pay in naira. Okay. And then if you want to pay using your card, so instead of making a direct transfer, you want to pay using your card, you can just scroll down, and then so let's say I want to make payment for the data analytics program. I can click on data analytics. Okay. So it takes me to this section. All right. It takes me to this section where, all right. So this is the data analytics store. All right. So what it will do is that it will take note of the current of the country you're in and the currency. So let's say if you're in the UK, so this will be pounds. All right. So I'm currently in Nigeria at the moment, and that's the reason why I have NGN, that's the naira. Okay. And then I have the price. So let's say I don't have the full payment, for instance. Maybe I want to just make so this is the full payment. So let's say I want to make the first installment. So I can go ahead and just insert 400,000. All right. I insert 400,000, and then I click on reserve a seat to keep a seat to book a seat in the class. And then I get taken to the checkout information where I can insert my name, insert my email address, insert my phone number. I go ahead, I click on proceed, and then I'm going to have this pop up on the screen that is asking me for my card details. So you can go ahead, insert your card details, make payments. You would be sent a receipt to your email, and please don't forget, you come back here and then you come over to upload your receipt. You click on upload your receipt. Okay, so if I click on upload your receipt, it's going to take me to a form that I'll fill. I insert my email, I click on next, I insert my receipt and all of that. And then I get I receive an email containing my welcome kit later on. I receive a confirmation email first of all, if your payment has been confirmed, and then subsequently I get a welcome kit which contains all of the information I need, the class schedule, the link to join the WhatsApp class, the WhatsApp group, the Google Classroom. You get to see the links to download all of the tools you'll be working with, all of the materials, and all of that. All right. So that's what you will get from us. You get a welcome kit that will fully onboard you into the session. Okay. And of course, you can make inquiries. If you have questions, you can always just reach out to us on inquiries@analytics.io, or you can also reach out, on any of these numbers. Just send us a message on WhatsApp, and we have fantastic people that are going to give you quick responses in real time. Okay. All right. So we have some success stories. All right. So in case if you're wondering, so you're going to get the slides, okay? You're going to get the slides. In case if you're wondering, are there people that have actually done these things, that have actually successfully transitioned to become a data analyst? All right. Are there persons that have actually done this? And yes, they are. So we have Muidin, for example. So Muidin got a job working remotely with BBX in the UK. Okay. So Muidin is actually in Nigeria and is working remotely in the UK, earning in pounds and spending in naira. All right. So I don't think it gets better than that. All right, so he joined our program in August last year, and he completed his internship in December 2023, and he started his new job February 2024. All right, so you can click on this to get Muidin's to get to hear from Muidin, so you get to watch his testimonial, so you can listen to him. You can also click. We have Damilare, we have Gbenga. We have different persons. So we have Olugbemi. There's so many testimonials out there that we won't be able to go through. But of course, when you get the slides, please do take out the time to go through all of these testimonials to hear what they have to say. All right. So do I have any questions? So if you know you have a question for me, you can just use the raise hand icon, and I'll call on you to ask your question. All right, so does anyone have a question for me? Are we all good? Okay, so while I wait the question, I'll just try to see if I can try to play. Just a moment. Let's get. Okay, so let's listen to Muidin. All right. All right, so I don't know if you can hear my.
Good day, everybody.
Just a moment. So
My name is Prince
I'm going to
Analytics.
so I'm going to start sharing again, so you can hear the because I don't think I was sharing audio. So just a moment.
Good day, everybody. My name is Prince Adiakoni. I joined Analytics exactly 1 month, 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks after joining Analytics, I was able to convert all this data you're seeing here into this dashboard. Now, a month later, I was turned into a Power BI professional by Analytics. Much with Analytics in a short period of time. I've learned how to clean my data. I've learned how to visualize my data. I've learned data modeling. I've learned data validation. I've learned different approaches of problem solving. I've learned multivariate analysis. I've learned DAX. The only thing I can say to Analytics is thank you. Thank you for providing us this opportunity.
Hello everyone, my name is Adesola Oladeji. I got to know about Analytics through a friend when I was planning to.
All right, so that's it from Muidin. All right, and like I said, once we get the slides, you can just go ahead, take a look at all of the different testimonials. We have a ton of them. You can also follow us on YouTube at Analytics. At Analytics. So just go on YouTube, search for Analytics, get to follow us, get to watch the different testimonials, and yeah. So I don't think I have any question. So it seems everyone is good. It seems there's no question. All right, so if that's the case, thank you very much everyone for joining in. Please ensure you make payments. All right, the discount slots are closing very, very fast. All right, so I think Andrew has a question now. So yeah, Andrew, you can go ahead. So Andrew, you can unmute and ask your question.
Mute. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So when you were talking about the payment, I'm streaming from Ghana, and you
All
didn't
right.
mention anything concerning Ghana city. So I don't know how we in Ghana are going to make our payment if we want to
All right,
register for
great.
the.
Yeah. So if you want to, so if you're in Ghana, fantastic. So we have something for you. So you can always utilize the card. So you can pay with your card. So I'm just going to share my screen again. So you get to see what it looks like. So once you click on the Insta, okay, once you click on the Insta click, it's going to take you to this, it's going to take you to this page. All right. And all you need to do is to scroll down. All right, you scroll down and then, so let's say you want to register for data analytics. All right, so you can click on data analytics. All right, and then it will take you to this section where you can insert the amount that you are looking to pay. So it's going to convert all of that to, to the actual value you want. So you don't need to worry about the conversion and all of that. So you can just utilize your card. So let's say I want to pay the sum of 600,000. All right, so let's say I want to pay the sum of 600,000. Once I do that, all I need to do is click on reserve a seat. That's I want to make the full amount. That's the full make the payment for the full discount. I click on reserve a seat. It takes me to this section. I insert my name. So Isusa. Okay. And then my email address. So I'll say isusa@10analytics.io. Okay. And then my phone number. So just going to say so let me just insert a bunch of numbers for now. All right. Okay, so just a bunch of numbers so you get to see so if I click on proceed, all right, so if I click on proceed, I'm expecting to see, all right, so you see this particular section. So all I need to do now is to insert my card details, and then I can pay, or I can also utilize a transfer, and I get to pay. So once you do that, you're going to get a receipt sent to your email address, and then you can upload that receipt in this section. So you can just come over here. You see where we have upload your receipt. So you can click on that to upload your receipt. All right. So I hope I was able to answer your question, Andrew. All right. So Andrew, did you get that? All right. So I would say Andrew got that. Okay. All right. So Andrew, do you want to give me a confirmation if that was clear? All right then.
Yes, I got
So
it. I got it.
all right, fantastic. Okay. So any other question?
I don't have any other question for now. Thank you very
All right,
much.
great. Of course. All right. So any question from any other person? All right. So once again, please ensure you came to the discount. So Andrew, I'll be expecting that you are going to be making a deposit very, very soon. So again, the discount 32%. That's what we're giving. The discount amount, if you're paying in naira, that's 600,000. All right. If you're paying in naira, if you're paying in Canadian dollars, that's 750 Canadian dollars. If you're paying in, so just display all of that again. All right. So if you're paying in Canadian dollars, 750. If you're paying in euros, that's 475 euros. If you're paying in pounds, 500 pounds. If you're paying in dollars, $600. All right, 33% discount for the first 20 persons. And with this, I would say thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. I'm sure we all learned, something. We learned how to build, not just build, but also deploy, not just deploy, but also automate Power BI reports. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. And until I see you again next time. All right, do stay safe. And yeah, cheers, guys.